Nestled deep within the heart of dense, foreboding woods, perpetually shrouded in an eerie mist that stubbornly refused to disperse, stood the ominous edifice known as Willowbrook Manor. Even the most daring individuals in the nearby town were put to sleep by the haunting tales and ominous rumors that swirled around this ancient mansion for ages. The centuries-old manor had long since been forsaken, its windows now dark voids and its once grand facade reduced to a decaying, malevolent presence that cast an unrelenting shadow over the surrounding landscape. Whispers among the locals insisted it was cursed, a place where restless spirits roamed the labyrinthine corridors and concealed chambers. The narrative unfurled one moonless night in late October, when a group of adventurous college friends embarked on a daring expedition, testing the limits of their own courage as they decided to breach the forbidding walls of the manor. Selena, a young woman well known for her insatiable curiosity and quest for the new, was one of them. Beside her stood Sophia, her steadfast best friend and the voice of reason, the one who had reluctantly acquiesced to accompany Selena into the heart of this enigmatic abyss. The wind howled through the old trees as they drew nearer, welcoming their approach with a shivering wail. The creepy atmosphere was heightened by Selena's torch, which created disturbing, extended shadows that danced unnervingly along the crumbling walls. With every step, the air grew colder, as though the very essence of the manor sought to repel their intrusion. Their entry into the manor was a cautious affair, every footfall accompanied by the ominous groaning of aging floorboards. Each abandoned compartment in the huge internal maze was more disturbing than the one before it. Broken furniture lay strewn across the dusty floors, accompanied by shattered glass, while the walls bore peeling wallpaper that appeared to shift and ripple in response to the faint light. With every step deeper into the manor, the unsettling sensation of unease escalated. Whispers, like distant echoes of agony, reverberated through the seemingly endless corridors. Chilling drafts seemed to convey spectral messages, sowing doubt and paranoia. Even Sophia's skepticism began to waver, her heart quickening with every unexplained sound. In one forsaken chamber, they stumbled upon a trove of weathered, tattered journals. As Selena gingerly dusted off the first volume and began to read aloud, they were drawn into a grim narrative. The narrative on the pages described the terrible life of a tortured recluse who had previously lived in the manor's stifling embrace and whose quest for forbidden knowledge had driven them into a nightmare abyss. An agonized scream pierced the air and echoed through the maze-like hallways of the manor in a sudden, terrifying moment. Without hesitation, Selena and Sophia rushed toward the source, only to find their friends huddled together in terror. They had unwittingly stumbled upon an unspeakable ritual in a room adorned with cryptic symbols and a grotesque altar. When they attempted to flee as panic overwhelmed them, the room's doors slammed shut, sealing their doom inside the hideous manor. An invisible force seemed to bar their escape, and despair set in as they realized the dire nature of their predicament. They were prisoners in this house of horrors, at the mercy of malevolent entities that reveled in tormenting their hapless victims. The flickering lights in the dimly ignited space threw unsettling shadows on the walls that revealed sinister patterns carved into the old wood. An otherworldly presence hung heavily in the air, and whispers, like ghostly caresses, whispered sinister secrets in their ears. Selena clutched the tattered journal, her voice trembling yet determined, as she began to recite cryptic incantations from its pages, a blend of Latin and a long-forgotten language. The very room seemed to respond, as the symbols on the walls came to life, ominously aglow with an ethereal light. Then, without warning, a spectral figure materialized before them, its visage twisted in a grotesque rictus of pain. Skeletal hands reached out, their bony fingers inching ever closer to Selena's throat. In spite of her fear, she kept reciting the incantations with an unwavering voice. The demon screamed a spine-chilling cry before vanishing in a puff of ethereal smoke. With a creaking of ancient hinges, the room's door reluctantly yielded, allowing the group to stumble back into the dimly lit corridor, gasping for breath. They had borne witness to the malevolent power hidden within the manor's cryptic enigmas, and it became unmistakably clear that Selena possessed an uncanny connection to the restless spirits haunting the mansion. The group resisted, propelled by Selena's recently discovered ability to speak with the ethereal residents, desperate to unravel the sinister secrets and release the evil spirits imprisoned behind Willowbrook Manor's cursed walls. They discovered underground chambers, hidden passageways, and an antique library stuffed to the gills with tomes that explored the forbidden heights of esoteric knowledge. With every revelation, their comprehension of the manor's history deepened. They learned the horrific truth: Willowbrook Manor had been constructed on a sacred location where a perverted cult had previously carried out its blasphemous rituals, offering dark sacrifices in exchange for unfathomable power. The malevolent spirits conjured by the cult yearned for vengeance upon any who dared intrude upon their haunted domain. The group acknowledged that the only means to break the curse entailed confronting the cult leader, the malevolent mastermind behind the rituals, a being of maleficent potency and a link to the infernal. The annals spoke of a hidden chamber lying beneath the manor, serving as the cryptic sanctuary of the demonic cult leader, eternally bound by an insatiable lust for power. With the knowledge they had amassed and an ever-encroaching sense of foreboding, they embarked upon a descent into the subterranean recesses of Willowbrook Manor, bearing candles, incantations, and a steely resolve. Yet, the enigma of what awaited them within the sinister depths, and the ability to withstand the malevolent forces guarding the dark secrets, remained uncertain. The saga of Willowbrook Manor had only just been initiated, and the horrors that lurked in the shadowy abyss stood poised to envelop them entirely. They were brought down a dark, labyrinth-like tunnel, like the inside of a terrible animal, that went further into the ground beneath Willowbrook Manor. Their progression was cautious, each footstep accompanied by the flickering candlelight that struggled to pierce the thick, impenetrable shadows clinging to the corridor's encroaching walls. As they descended further into the Stygian depths, the atmosphere grew colder still, the walls contracting almost as if to squeeze them out of existence. Whispers of agony and despair, like spectral echoes, resonated through the passage, a bone-chilling testament to the myriad torments endured within the manor's haunted halls. Selena persevered, the incantation flowing from her lips, a feeble ward against the malevolent spirits lurking in the darkness. Ultimately, they arrived at a massive, iron-bound door, adorned with a mosaic of macabre symbols and glinting, obsidian stones. It was here that they understood they must confront the sinister cult leader. With trembling hands, they pressed forward, shoving open the foreboding portal. In the chamber beyond, an eerie light, the hue of blood, bathed the surroundings. At its center, atop an obsidian altar, rested an age-old tome, its pages bound in the pallid flesh of the unfortunate. Its inscriptions, a cryptic script utterly alien to the living, beckoned them to decipher its arcane secrets. Surrounding the altar, grotesque effigies grotesquely distorted human suffering, a grim testament to the malevolence that had taken root. As they set foot within the chamber, a spectral figure manifested before them. It was the cult leader, his visage a grotesque testament to centuries of anguish, his eyes gleaming with malevolence. He spoke in a voice that reverberated from the very abyss, unveiling the extent of his malefic power.
You dare to trespass within my realm, mortals, you shall find no escape from this place.
The cult leader hissed malevolently. Undaunted, Selena stepped forward, her voice quavering yet unwavering. She continued to recite the incantation, and the room responded, its walls adorned with symbols glowing ominously. The cult leader howled in agonizing torment as the ancient words bound him, his malevolent spirit fettered to the unforgiving obsidian altar. The room violently erupted in a blinding eruption of spectral energy, as though the earth's very foundations were being torn apart. The cult leader's tortured spirit was torn asunder, his malevolence scattered like a wisp of smoke. As the cataclysmic energy gradually abated, the group found themselves standing outside Willowbrook Manor, bathed in the first, hesitant rays of dawn that pierced through the gnarled branches of the ancient trees. The evil spirits were destroyed, and the long-lasting curse that had hung over the mansion was finally lifted. Selena, Sophia, and their companions had endured the horrors of Willowbrook Manor, but the scars they bore would persist eternally. The manor itself stood silent and foreboding, no longer a dwelling of darkness and dread, but a somber reminder of the malevolent potential concealed behind even the most enchanting veneers. As the dawn broke, it ushered in a disquieting calm over Willowbrook Manor. Yet, the respite Selena and Sophia felt was fleeting, for an unsettling unease settled into the marrow of their bones. Days stretched into weeks, and peculiar phenomena began to assail them. Unexplained shadows danced on the fringes of their vision, whispered voices haunted their dreams, and an eerie sensation of being perpetually watched gripped them. The evil force that had plagued them in the manor weighed heavily on their friends as well. In the throes of despair, Selena and Sophia scrambled to decipher the cryptic incantations Selena had unwittingly recited. With a gnawing dread, they returned to the tattered journal they had unearthed within the manor, and there, the twisted revelations lay bare. The verses, it appeared, were not intended to bind the cult leader's spirit but to beckon something far more sinister. The symbols once believed to be protective were revealed as dark sigils that summon infernal entities. Unwittingly, they had unleashed a dreadful evil, and now they were all marked. One by one, their companions succumbed to the malevolent forces they had unwittingly summoned. Nightmares plagued their sleep, contorting their bodies in unnatural ways. The bonds that once united their group disintegrated as paranoia and fear consumed them. Desperate to break the curse, Selena and Sophia delved deeper into the occult, seeking answers and guidance. They discovered that the only way to bind the demons they had inadvertently summoned was through a grim sacrifice, an innocent soul of unsullied purity to seal the unholy pact. With heavy hearts, Selena and Sophia confronted their remaining friends, divulging the dire predicament and the sole path to salvation. In grim accord, the group acknowledged their dire straits, realizing that they had no alternative. They returned to Willowbrook Manor, where the veil between realms was at its thinnest. Within the haunted halls of the cursed mansion, they initiated the ritual, a ghastly and macabre affair. The air pulsated with a malevolent presence as the demons converged, demanding their due. In a final, nightmarish twist, the demons disclosed that the sacrifice they demanded was not just any innocent soul, but those of Selena and Sophia themselves. With a chilling realization, the friends comprehended that they had been manipulated from the very outset. The demonic forces had toyed with them, employing Selena's incantations to infiltrate their lives and claim their souls as recompense. The room echoed with anguished cries as Selena, Sophia, and their companions confronted the harrowing truth of their predicament. The demons reveled in their torment, feeding off the fear and despair that permeated the cursed mansion. Shadows cavorted along the walls, distorting into grotesque forms that whispered sinister promises of suffering and agony. The very air seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, a sinister force that prodded at their deepest fears. Their friends were driven to the brink of despair, manipulated by the malevolent demons, as their loyalty to Selena and Sophia clashed with the merciless demands of the malevolent forces. The room bore witness to their anguished screams, a tableau of torment that left the very air heavy with dread. As they looked for a way to permanently break the curse, desperation overcame them. They scoured the manor for concealed clues, consulted the tattered journal for any inklings, and even endeavored to recreate the very ritual that had brought them into this living nightmare. Yet, the demons proved relentless, thwarting their every effort with sinister glee. Within the cursed abyss of Willowbrook Manor, the demons reveled in the terror they had sown. They fed upon the fear and despair of Selena, Sophia, and their companions, growing stronger with every passing moment. The sinister entities had orchestrated their suffering from the very beginning, devising a sadistic game of torment. They don't know how much time has passed, as the malevolent spirits continued their wicked games. Shadows flitted across the walls, merging into monster shapes that whispered promises of suffering and anguish. The atmosphere itself pulsed with malevolence, a relentless entity that toyed with their deepest fears. As their fear reached its peak, the demons separated them, playing wicked tricks. The first to succumb to the demons' cruel game was Mark. Lured into a chamber of mirrors, his reflection twisted into grotesque, nightmarish forms. In a frenzy of panic, he shattered one of the mirrors, only for the shards to transform into malevolent entities that tore him asunder, all the while resonating with sinister laughter. Rachel followed, ensnared in a room suffused with an overwhelming sense of nostalgia and longing. There, the demons preyed upon her deepest regrets, revealing visions of her loved ones suffering. Her despair reached its zenith, and the room resounded with her anguished screams as the demons manifested and sundered her soul, their laughter a cruel soundtrack to her tragic end. Chris, who was about to lose his mind, found himself in a place where time had been warped and distorted. Helplessly, he watched as his body aged at an alarming pace, withering away before his very eyes. Before ultimately putting an end to his life, the demons took great pleasure in his suffering, draining every last bit of terror from him. The demons' malevolent games pressed on, and each friend was subjected to a unique and gruesome torment. With each agonized scream and drop of blood spilled, the evil beings grew more powerful as their terror reached a peak. Amid their isolation, Selena and Sophia encountered their horrors. Selena was ensnared in a room where the walls inexorably closed in on her, crushing her physically and psychologically. She fought against the suffocating darkness, but it showed no mercy. The devils, enjoying her sorrow as her life shortened, muttered terrible taunts. Sophia, the last to confront her nightmare, found herself in a room adorned with mirrors that reflected her deepest secrets and insecurities. She saw herself change into a hideous, terrible form of herself, a ruthless denigration of her value. The demons taunted her, their laughter reverberating through the chamber as her sanity crumbled. As Selena and Sophia's final moments neared, they were brought together one last time, the demons relishing in their torment. They looked at each other, tears reflecting the pain they had experienced. In their shared anguish, they silently cursed the day they had set foot in Willowbrook Manor, lamenting their ill-fated decision. With a final, spine-chilling cackle, the demons descended upon Selena and Sophia, their laughter drowning out the screams of their victims. The very manor itself seemed to quiver as if acknowledging the dark triumph of the malevolent forces that had ensnared it. The once vibrant souls of Selena, Sophia, and their friends were extinguished, their lives snuffed out in a grotesque symphony of suffering. Willowbrook Manor, the cursed abode, had emerged victorious, standing as a monument to the abyss of darkness that could be concealed within the human soul. The evil entities that were still present in the manor delighted in their conquest, their vile laughter resonating through the long halls. It served as a chilling reminder that certain felonies would never end.